Hey everyone, welcome to the Games Revealed Weekly News segment. We're going to get into some great questions today. A few things that are coming, a few things that are going, and those questions such as, is Joel still alive? Are plants really animals? And is the Wizards game really going to be magical? Stick around and we'll answer all those burning questions. And go ahead and hit like and subscribe. That way we can continue to bring this news to you and improve as we go along. So as far as things that are coming down the line here, there's a couple really exciting ones actually. So the Black Mesa project has now added Blue Shift into their project. So you'll be able to play chapter 1 of that. It's available now. You can download it and play that. If you already have Black Mesa and you've played it, you know how exciting and fun that's going to be. For those of you that don't know what Blue Shift is, it is a sequel to the Half-Life game, but told from a different perspective. It's the perspective of your boy Barney Calhoun, who is one of the guards at the Black Mesa Research Facility. I'm really excited about this. I thought this was a great twist on the series when I played it years and years ago, and I'm excited to see it done in the Black Mesa upscaled setting. Black Mesa is a really great project, and I recommend you guys give it a shot. Super cheap on Steam and an awesome game. Also coming down the line, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, which is kind of notorious for being one of the most difficult RPGs that's ever come out. There's a remaster that's been talked about for a while now, and the release date has finally been revealed. It's going to be May 25th, 2021, and pre-orders are available now. So head over and get your pre-order taken care of if you're into that, or wait till it comes out and pick it up like any normal decent human being would. I personally am very excited about this game. It's one that's had a special spot for me in my RPG experience. So we also have a game coming out, Stardewmon. Just kidding. It's not called Stardewmon. It's called Monster Harvest, and it basically is a crossover. It plays a lot like Stardew Valley with kind of a Pokemon flavor to it, where you run around and meet all the people in your little town, and you kind of build your farm up and you grow these plants, but then you transform your plants into these animals called planimals, and from there you're able to take those planimals and kind of fight the different creatures that are around the world in a similar way that you would fight with Pokemon. And I guess it's something about, like, eventually the animals will be set loose and try and stop the evil slime corporation from doing whatever they're doing. Sounds interesting and fun. I really enjoyed Stardew Valley. I quite liked, actually, just like how relaxing. I enjoyed Stardew Valley. I quite this combat element. I think will spice things up a little bit. The idea of your plants turning into animals is interesting. I'm curious to see more of what they're going to do with the art direction of that and the different concepts that they come up with. But it should be cool and interesting play, especially if you're into the farming simulator type games, and especially the playstyle of Stardew Valley, where it's a bit more laid back. Outside of that, we're going to be getting a movie. I don't know fully when this is taking place, but it's Ghost of Tsushima being made into a movie with the director of the John Wick series. Personally, I'm very excited about this because that game is already very cinematic. So I think they're going to have a hard time messing it up. And for anyone that is a fan of video games, you know that there's been a pretty tumultuous history with turning any video game franchise into a movie, especially when it comes to beloved titles that we all really care about. There are very few that aren't terrible, and I don't know that I know of any that are actually good as far as video gaming movies go. And we may get more into that down the line because it's an interesting topic, but I think Ghost of Tsushima is a great place to break that trend. I think it could be a great movie. John Wick series is a fantastic series for those of you that haven't seen it. Really simple, but for how simple it is, it's quite compelling how good of a job they've done with it. So I'm excited for this. We're probably looking a couple years down the road, though, but keep it on your radar. And then here's a really big one. This blew me away because I did not know they were this far in development, but Magic the Gathering has been working on an MMO for a while now. We've known a little bit about it. It's going to be free to play. It's going to be an MMO, and just basic, simple information like that. You get to choose to be a planeswalker. There's different class types, all that. But the beta is now live. So if you've got a system that can run it, go ahead and check the stats on that to make sure that your PC can handle it. But give it a go. Try it out. Magic the Gathering has a very interesting universe. A lot of what makes it interesting is how diversified it is. Everything's divided into planes, so really, like, the universe is your limit, and it makes it a super compelling game to play. Personally, I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV right now, so I'm not entirely sure how soon I'll be able to get to this, but I am excited that this is coming out, and I've been interested to see kind of where they'd go with it. So it's interesting that they're this far along and already in the beta. That means they're going to be looking for feedback and things that they can improve and kind of wanting to know what the player experience is. So jump in on that, give them your feedback, and help them make a good game. Some things that are leaving or going. Back 4 Blood has been delayed until October of this year. So that's not too unexpected. A lot of things have been getting pushed back lately. With the COVID situation, I'm sure that's a lot to do with it. And then I think a lot of companies are being a bit more sensitive to making sure that they're putting out a good game, which I think is important. So I'll take a delay for a good game any day over a broken game that came out too early and failed to deliver on its promises. And kind of in that same vein, we're having a lead developer leave a major studio. And I can't pronounce this name right, so I do apologize for the mispronunciation here. But it looks like Andrejz Zawadski is leaving CD Projekt Red. He's been with them for 8 years, and he announced on Twitter, what he said on Twitter to announce his leaving was just saying, after almost 8 years, my time at CDPR has come to an end. It's time for a new adventure. To every person I've met on the way, thank you. It was an honor and a pleasure. See you around. I'm sure that was a difficult decision to make, but it's also understandable considering all the circumstances around the release of Cyberpunk 2077 from CD Projekt Red, and how just downright nasty a lot of fans can be when it comes to these types of things. You know, there were a lot of death threats and things going around at the time of release. I know they've been working on a lot of updates and things with this game. I haven't played it since I beat it on its original release, so I don't know how much things have improved. But I don't blame the guy, man. There's a lot that was done right in Cyberpunk 2077, so hopefully Andrejz goes on to do some really great things with his 8 years of experience. And CD Projekt Red has made some great games in the past that he's also worked on. So we'll see where he ends up and what projects he ends up working on, but I wish him the best. And to anyone that tends to get a little overheated in their reactions to things, don't be the guy that does the death threat thing, guys. It's just not cool. Like, you want to be the not cool guy? Nobody wants to be the not cool guy. And there's just a few other things, kind of housekeeping things. It's kind of been a slower week this week, but we're getting an update in Valheim. I believe this is actually already out, where they've fixed a few issues and added some quality of life things. So one of the quality of life things they fixed is that your storage chests can now contain, they hold more. So I believe it was 18 items that it could hold before, and it's up from there, somewhere in the 20s, like 22 or 23, I believe. They also addressed a bug where when you put different items in your house near where you sleep, it has a comfort level that gives you a buff. There was an issue where some of the simpler items, like the chair or the rug, were overriding things that provided a better stat boost. So that's been fixed and addressed, and so you should be able to maximize your comfort level in that game. Great game if you haven't played it. Very casual and laid back. It's a super fun survival builder game with some RPG elements that are nice, that, in my opinion, bring people together as a community in that type of a game better than I think any other of those types of games that I've played. So it's kind of cool where you can have a game like this where people are really motivated to work together to build the best place they can build and go out and kill all the cool giant monsters that are in that game. They also added higher drop rates for certain monsters for the trophies that they have, and a couple other fixes to the monsters, but they're just kind of small things. And then they added in as well that if you're wearing heavy armor, you're less likely to get knocked back. And that knockback range is decreased, which would make sense considering the added weight. So that's just adding a little realism and a simple tweak, but I'm sure it'll adjust the gameplay quite a bit as well for some of the complexity of attack or fighting in that game, which is pretty straightforward if we're being honest. But any variable you can add to make it a little more in-depth is always good. We also have a new mod coming out where Ellie's role is replaced by Joel. So you get to go through the game being Jolie and experience the game in a whole new way. And instead of, some of the things happening along the way that would happen to one character, they now happen to another character. So that should be an interesting twist. I'm curious how that'll play out in some scenes, like that are it's pretty important, like who it is that's in the countering role to the role of the main player that you're playing in that game. So I'm curious if they made any changes to address that, or if they just straight up added in the character model so that you play as Joel rather than as Ellie as your main character. Pretty interesting stuff, and mods can be pretty fun there. It's a good way to just kind of break out of what your normal gaming experience is and kind of go from there. So I don't know if I'd recommend it. I haven't played Last of Us 2, so I don't really know A, how good of a game it is from my own experience, or B, how fun or not fun this mod would be as an addition. So if you're into mods, give it a try, let us know. If you're not into mods, Last of Us 2, from what I've seen, is supposed to be a fantastic game, and I'm sure that you got everything you needed to get out of it just on the normal playthrough, so don't worry about it. Game Pass is getting 20 new games. I'm not going to list them all here, just because that's a waste of all of our time. But you guys can go to venturebeat.com. They've got a full list there of all the games that are going to be added to Game Pass. There's a couple notable ones, though, that at least I've heard about. Some of them are bigger, some of them are just kind of weird games that are out there, but you'll get games like Boyfriend Dungeon is being added, Edge of Eternity, as well as Stalker 2. Stalker 2 is actually a pretty interesting game. And Edge of Eternity is one I've had my eye on. I don't know what to make of it yet. That's a game that I hope to get to eventually, but I'm interested in that one. There's several others on there. Some look really indie and interesting, some that I've never heard of, and other games that I have heard of that are just, we're all different out there, and we all have our different flavors, so I think there's a little something in there for everybody. Definitely some interesting games, and Game Pass continues to be an impressive tool that Microsoft has, basically. Not even a tool, but it's a great value for us as the consumer, and it's a smart business model from Xbox, especially since they continue to add quality content to it. So that's really all that we've got going on this week. Not a whole lot other than, different articles and things that you can find across the web. I recommend checking out the trailer for the Magic the Gathering game. It's a very cool trailer. There are some gameplay trailers out there. I haven't seen those yet, but the CG trailer was awesome. I thought it looked really cool. Anyone who's looking forward to Back 4 Blood, it's a bummer that it's getting delayed, but man, does that game look sweet. And that's going to be the news this time. So thanks for stopping in to Games Revealed. Again, we'd appreciate a like and subscribe if you guys felt like there was any content in here that you didn't know about or that was useful to you. And thanks for stopping by. You guys have a good one.